Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't understand the argument that the property tax portion of this is somehow tax relief for these counties. To me, it is quitting on these counties. The way that the tax change works is that people are now incentivized to stay in their homes for as long as possible because they would receive the benefit of being subsidized by the taxes paid by people who have bought their houses more recently as the market generally goes up. And so what you're doing is you're penalizing people like members of the military who delay their first home purchase because they're moving around from place to place. People like doctors who spend a lot of time in school before they're able to afford to buy a house. And you're disincentivizing them moving into these communities. It's cliche that when a family is looking at where to live, the wife would ask about the school system and the husband would ask about the affordability of those monthly payments. I'm young enough to remember being a first-time home buyer and living out that cliche and looking at whether we could afford to pay not only the principal and interest on the mortgage and the insurance, but also property taxes. That all gets wrapped in. And I understand the first few years of paying for the mortgage where we were scrimping and saving in order to make that payment every month and how difficult that was. I think many of us do. And we understood that over time, as principal and interest remains the same, we would, and our incomes presumably go up, we're better able to afford those payments. And yet, what we're doing here is providing a subsidy from the new home buyer, forcing them to pay more because they don't get the benefit of years of inflation not counting for their property tax. And instead, they've got to now subsidize people who are already established, who've been there. And even if you already live in the community, that means it's going to be harder for you to go to one of these communities to live near your children and grandchildren, or for your children and grandchildren to buy a property near where you live, if that's what suits you. And what was important in my family is also what's important when a CEO is looking at whether to locate their business in your county. How are the schools, and can you afford the mortgage payments? I want to go through a few examples of where we are quitting on Missourians. In Union, Missouri, this bill would erode voter-approved resources, not just for the fire and ambulance district and the school district, like every other county, the library, but also East Central College, which employs 453 full and part-time faculty and staff. We're quitting on education and economic development in Union, Missouri. In Ozark County and others, the county property taxes also pay for the county jail. We're quitting on that too. In St. Charles, which has the success of being one of the fastest growing counties in Missouri, we're making it more expensive for new residents to come in. We are taking away the growth that they have been able to enjoy should we pass this. In Dade County, we're threatening the county library, just a 2 or 3 room library there that is going to be doing a summer reading period on Monday at 10 a.m. if anyone would like to go there. In Seymour School District, where 61.1% of the students are on free or reduced lunch in Webster County, we are defunding their education. In the Boot Heel, where life expectancy is 65 years at birth, the same as Haiti and the Congo, less than Iraq and Ethiopia and 80% of the other countries in the world, we have decided by not passing House Bill 19 not to put in a $1.5 million project that was supposed to keep the county's one hospital open. And yet we're putting the last nail in their coffin to prevent economic recovery. This bill makes it harder to move to Hickory County, which has lost 15% of its population since 2010. People say that this is really about the stadium, and I understand why the cameras are to my right here. But let's remember St. Charles County has an assessed valuation of over $12 billion, and that's just one of the counties that would be affected by this. I would call this a surrender, but it's not, because surrender implies that there's a third person out there that is stronger than you that you are surrendering to. We are simply quitting on these Missourians. This is the most significant part of the bill as I read it, and I'll be voting accordingly. Thank you.